Here is a brutal truth that's going to make half of you click off of this video immediately. And if you do click off of the video, you prove my point. You are in love with your own pain. You treat your trauma like a pet. You feed it, you walk it, you cuddle it at night, and then you wonder why it won't leave the house. We live in a culture that hands out gold medals for who has the saddest backstory. But here's the reality. Your trauma explains your behavior, but it does not excuse it. If you're sitting in the wreckage of your life blaming your parents, your ex, the economy, or God, I have news for you. The common denominator in all of your problems, it's you. Today on Sober Psychology, we're dissecting the victim mentality. We're looking at the psychology of why we stay stuck and the biblical truth that demands that you get up. So let's get into it. What is up, guys? Welcome back to Sober Psychology. I'm Michael, your host, a psychologist in training, a guy who loves you enough to tell you the truth, even though your friends probably are too scared to say it. If you're new here, we mix hard-hitting psychology with biblical reality. We don't do fluff. We don't do manifesting. We do the work. If you want to get better, hit that subscribe button. If you want to stay comfortable, go watch cat videos. Today we're talking about the victim mentality. Now, disclaimer, I am not saying that you weren't victimized. Bad things happen to good people. Abuse happens. Addiction happens. Life kicks you in the teeth. That is a fact. But there's a difference between being a victim, which is an event, and having a victim mentality, which is an identity. One is something that happened to you, and the other is a prison that you're building for yourself, brick by brick. We're going to look at the locus of control, the concept of secondary gain, and the story of the Gospel of John that proves that Jesus had absolutely zero tolerance for self-pity. Let's start with Psych 101. Why would anyone choose to be miserable? Freud and later behaviorists talked about something called secondary gain. Basically, it says, what do you get out of staying sick? Because you get something. Don't lie to me. If you stay the victim, you get attention, you get sympathy, but most importantly, you get a get-out-of-jail-free card for responsibility. Psychology tells us about the external locus of control. This is where you believe that life happens to you, not by you. If your life is a mess because your narcissistic ex or your toxic boss, guess what? You don't have to change. You just have to wait for them to change. And since they never will, you get to stay exactly where you are. Miserable but comfortable. It's the lazy man's approach to life. It's emotional sloth. There was a study by Martin Seligman on learned helplessness. He found that if you shock a dog enough times and don't let it escape, eventually, when you open the cage door, the dog won't leave. It just lies there and whines. Some of you have the door wide open. The cage is unlocked. But you've been shocked so many times, you've decided that lying in your own filth is safer than running for the door. That isn't trauma anymore. That's a choice. Ooh, now my favorite part. Let's take this to church because some of you use your faith to mask your victimhood. You pray, oh God, take this away, but you won't move your feet. Let's look at John 5. There's a guy paralyzed for 38 years, lying by the pool of Bethesda. 38 years. That is a lifetime of being the guy on the mat. That's his identity. He's the sick guy. Jesus walks up to him and he asks probably the most savage and offensive question in the New Testament. He looks this man, this paralyzed man, in the eyes and says, do you want to get well? Can you imagine a doctor asking you that? You'd sue him for malpractice. Obviously, I want to get well. I'm paralyzed. But Jesus knew human nature. He knew that if this guy gets healed, he can't beg anymore. He has to get a job. He has to pay taxes. He has to take responsibility. And look at the guy's answer. He doesn't say yes. He gives an excuse. Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool. He immediately blames his environment. I can't heal because nobody is helping me. Jesus didn't pick the man up. He carried his mat. He gave him a command. Get up. Pick up your mat and walk. God is not going to do for you what he gave you the strength to do. You're waiting for a miracle. God's waiting for you to move. Stop praying for the mountain to move and start buying climbing gear. All right, let's bridge the gap here. Neuroscience shows us that we can actually become addicted to the chemicals that our body produces during stress, which is cortisol and adrenaline. If you grew up in chaos, peace feels boring. Peace feels suspicious. So when things are going well, you self-sabotage. You pick a fight, you relapse, you scroll through social media looking for something to be offended by. And why is that? It's to get a hit. You're a junkie, but your drug isn't just alcohol or pills, it's drama, it's pity. You're addicted to the narrative that the world is against you because it makes you the main character of a tragedy rather than an extra in a success story. Woo! Oh, Michael, you're so mean. You've said so many harsh things. Okay, you're probably right. So let's go ahead and sprinkle in a little hope for you. So how do we break this? How do we sober up from the victim mentality? Number one, radical ownership. Everything in your life is your fault. Even if it's not, act like it is. Your trauma is not your fault, but your healing is 100% your responsibility. No one is coming to save you. The white horse is dead. You have to save yourself through the power of Christ and your own two hands. Number two, change your language. Stop saying I can't. Stop saying it's because of my anxiety. Stop identifying with your diagnosis. In psychology, we try and separate the person from the disease. You're not an anxious person. You're a person experiencing anxiety. Do not let a medical billing code become your identity in Christ. Look, I know this is harsh. I know that some of you are bleeding out right now, but a tourniquet hurts like hell when you apply it. It has to be tight to stop the bleeding. I'm applying the pressure because I want you to live. The victim mentality is a slow suicide. It kills your potential, it kills your relationships, and it kills your spirit. Jesus paid a high price for your freedom. Stop voluntarily walking back into the cage. Whew, stressed. If this episode pissed you off, good. Use that anger to change. If this episode helped you, go ahead and share it. Comment below, I am picking up my mat. Let me see who's ready to walk. I'm Michael. This is Sober Psychology. Stay real, stay sober, and just get up. Keep your head up. Keep your heart open. Go help somebody. Love you guys.